I'll be honest, I'm not sure if Rocket League or football was invented first. I think Rocket League.
Thanks for
But
Rocket League. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, are we live?
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the Level with Me
So
podcast.
stupid. That's so stupid.
I don't know what you're talking about, Matt.
I appreciate it though, because it's not at my expense. So let's continue.
Let's continue with my amazing World Cup related intro where we mentioned football and not soccer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a league thing actually where if it's like American League, then we call it soccer, but because it's the World Cup, there you call it football because they're not in the soccer league? I don't know.
I have no idea how that all works. I don't follow sports really at all. So
Did you watch any of the World Cup? Yeah.
No, I watched like some clips and highlights, but that's about it.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, but you know, the US got that we made it into the like top 16, I think, and then eliminated. And we're like, oh,
That's not bad, right? In the world.
It's pretty. Yeah, honestly, on the world stage, it's better than we normally do. Maybe I don't know.
I think the U.S. team has always kind of been a little, struggled a little bit.
Yeah,
Though very little knowledge that I know.
Yeah, our women's team now delivering most of the time, which is cool because we support women's sports over here.
We do.
Yeah,
we do.
We got some fun stuff to talk about today. Battlefield 6 Season 4. Incredible. It is launched. Well, I think it's incredible. We haven't talked about it yet.
We haven't talked about it.
We
haven't talked about it.
I shot you a few times in some early recording sessions. I was like, oh, hey, that's Matimio. And I made sure to give you the old teabag on your kill cam.
Yeah, okay. All right. So for those that aren't aware, Level Cap and I got to be able to play Battlefield 6's new season, Season 4, a little bit early. Mm-hmm. And today we can finally talk about it. And the first time I encountered Level Cap was he teabagged me. And it was a friendly rivalry from there on out.
It was like the good old days.
On the new map.
Yeah. So, definitely the exciting part of Season 4 are boats and a new map, Tsuru Reef. Now,
it is humongous.
It is. The capture points go to I had to keep opening my map just to be like, where the heck is it felt like a map. I was like, honey, where's the freeway?
Where are we? Yeah. I took a left and I'm lost.
Yeah. The map is massive. It's maybe the biggest map in the game.
No, it is. It 100% is.
Yeah.
They've said.
Okay. And you can get around it it's very much plane, trains, and automobiles, although boats, land vehicles, and aircraft. And there's a lot of everything in it, maybe less so on the tank side, but man, those jets and helicopters, I think jet pilots are going to be very happy on this map. I didn't notice an
attack helicopter. Did you see one at all?
No attack helicopter, but I did like how they have a little bird on the map, but they have it spawn from the E point, which is sort of a midpoint on the map. So the teams get to fight over the little bird, and the little bird's a very effective weapon in the right hands. It's devastating potentially. So it's kind of cool to see DICE play around with those power dynamics where they're like, you want the really good vehicle, you capture this point. And now there's like a big incentive to fight over the Hainan Resort building, as I call it.
I mean, it effectively is Hainan Resort.
Yep.
The actual hotel itself. Yeah.
I told you, Matt, we had a podcast a while ago where I was like, it's the Hainan Resort building. You're like, it's not the Hainan Resort. It just kind of looks like it.
And to my credit, it does kind of just look like it because the layout inside is technically different. So checkmate, Level Cap.
I mean, it's like borderline identical.
Is there differences? Oh, is there? Okay. Just making sure, just clarifying that there are differences.
It's like a different paint. They like painted the walls a different color.
90% of it is exactly the same. I'll give you that, but it is a little different.
Yeah. So first impressions, I think the map is beautiful. I think it's really fun to play. There's a huge variety of gameplay in there. I mean, you can snipe, you can base assault, you can attack people in boats. The other thing is the boats are really fun. I was enjoying the attack boat a lot.
I'm glad you're liking them because I found them to be underwhelming.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was bad. Not bad, but like not great. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Which boats specifically were you having boating issues with?
So I went for an infantry, and maybe because it was just like the waves are really aggressive. The waves are like they jostle you around, and so a lot of times you just don't really feel in control over the boat. Which, surprise, surprise, it's a boat, so it's going to feel like a boat. And in that case, they've done a great job. But the maneuverability of it is really sluggish because it's a giant boat. Plus, you have these waves jostling around, and so trying to be on target and accurate, even against an infantry, I found to be quite challenging. And so I was literally like losing fights against like a one-on-one infantry. Like I was like, man, I'm first of all bad at vehicles.
From the attack boat.
From the attack boat, yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a skill issue, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it is a skill issue for sure. But I found the main cannon really just wasn't really all that satisfying to use. And then when I was in the back of it, you get the mortars, and the mortars are kind of cool in theory, but it can't shoot in front. And so the only way to actually attack anything is to have someone actually coordinating with the driver so that you can actually shoot the things that they're trying to shoot at as well. And a lot of the times you just blow up well before the guy realizes that's piloting knows that you're trying to actually help.
Yeah. You got to broadside them like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
I will agree that the rear gun, so there's 2 seats in the attack boat. I don't believe it's got that 4-seat setup anymore, like the old ones where you could be on the side miniguns. I think it's just a 2-seater.
I didn't notice that either.
Which is a little disappointing. It would have been cool if you could ferry people around in it, but it's not really intended for that anymore. It's more of a like, here's your tank on the water type vehicle. So the rear gun is a little awkward to aim, and it's not immediately intuitive. So if you aim it up, did you notice you get the targeting on your mini map?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's hard to aim because, as you mentioned, the waves jostle the boat, and then you're like trying to precisely aim on the mini map, and it's moving all over the place. IRL, this wouldn't be an issue. Tanks don't have this issue. There's like videos of there's a cool video, a British video of them showing off their main battle tank in real life, where they put a full pint of beer on the main gun and then drive it over like the most rugged terrain ever, and the pint doesn't spill, right?
Right.
Because we have auto adjusting turret technology so in real life, those crazy waves wouldn't be bouncing your artillery cannon all over the place, and you're like, I can't hit anything. So there's a couple like little annoying things about the secondary gun. I didn't experience the same issues you had from driving the boat around. I do think it was more challenging to drive than previously, but I kind of liked it because it felt much more realistic from a physics perspective. Fair. And I was like, cool, there's a higher skill ceiling with boats now. So this will be fun it's kind of like the helicopter where it's like, if you're good, the difference between a mediocre driver and a good driver is like massive. And so while the boats aren't that high of a skill ceiling, there is more there. So you're like, okay, a good boat driver is going to make a bigger difference than a mediocre boat driver. So I like that part of it.
I'm glad you're enthusiastic about it. I truly think that most people are going to find it to be either mid or underwhelming.
Okay. So they designed the map in areas where the boats are able to pull into harbors and certain capture points. Yeah. And I had a blast locking down 2 capture points near some of the spawns and just farming infantry kills. It could be a skill issue. Yeah.
I'm comparing this. I'm okay. The Battle Before boats were kind of insane, right? Those things were kind of nuts. The maneuverability in Battle Before felt better for the boat. The
easier,
weapons,
I would say.
Easier. The weapons felt stronger. So comparing to the Battle Before boat, I feel like it's like a night and day difference. Would you agree to that to some extent?
I went on some crazy kill streaks with it. So
all right, I just suck. All right, I'll take the L. It's just a skill issue. Okay, all right, I see how it is. Fair enough.
Like I'm not joking. I pulled into a harbor and maybe got like 10, 15 kills, like suppressing infantry and like taking the capture points. So they are weaker. They're a little more glass cannon-y than the previous boats, and I like that. I've always been a fan of the glass cannon approach to even tanks in older Battlefield games, where people are like, it doesn't feel like a tank. I'm like, yeah, well, modern tanks don't like they get blown up to one Law style rocket, or whatever. Those ones that go up in the air and then come down. They're like, we can blow up tanks with a hand. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We can blow up tanks with a handheld rocket launcher. That's what our technology is. So, I mean, I'm a fan of this glass cannon approach where infantry can fight back if they're coordinated and a vehicle driver overcommits to something. So I had a blast. Also, I was playing with Nick 930 and we both had attack boats together and we were coordinating our anti-air against the jets and stuff. And so that was fun. One of us would fire missiles, they'd flare, and then the other one would fire 2 missiles and take out the jets. Nice. And we were like, okay, this is fun. I was having a blast. I torpedoed another attack boat, which was dope.
Nice.
They have torpedoes.
They do have torpedoes, and you guide them.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't realize that at first.
They're very slow.
Yeah.
They're very slow. Like to the point where I'm like, that's a little too slow.
It's basically like you have to fire them before you even see the enemy. And then it's like World of Warships where you have to pre-fire the torpedo at like where you think they're going to be. And then it'll hit them. Because otherwise the boats are so weak that you'll just kill the other boat before the torps get there. But I did get a torpedo kill, and it just happened to be because we were like 10 feet away from each other. And I fired my torpedoes before they did. So yeah.
That's cool.
It's cool. I want to mess with the weapon loadout too. I assume you're going to be able to mix and match some of this stuff on there. So I'd be curious to see if you can swap.
You can use like a minigun. There's like a minigun, kind of like it plays exactly or very similar to I remember from the transport helicopters. So your Black Hawk helicopters. So it's very similar, but then it kind of feels weird because then you switch to your secondary, which is just an LMG, like a mounted LMG. So it's like those kind of are the same thing. So I don't really know why you would want to have both. Another reason why I felt like the boat just kind of felt a little awkward. I got to give it one more time. And I'm excited to put more time into it. But my first impressions of the boat was like, man, this is really clunky. Man, this thing doesn't do a lot of damage. Man, I'm getting blown up really fast. But once again, skill issue.
You were playing against me, so that was probably...
That's true. Yep. I was playing against the level cap gaming. That's a very good point.
So we don't get the F-14 Tomcat in this first phase 1 of season 4. We're into phases now. I'm really excited about the Tomcat just because it's such an iconic plane. It's so cool. And they found an excuse to put it in the game. You're like, it would never be here, but I'm okay with it. So I guess that's coming with Wake Island. I don't know if they're going to retroactively put the Tomcat into Tsuru Reef after that launches. It seems sort of weird to only have it for one map. If you're going to make a Tomcat, put it in more.
Put in more than one, yeah. I could see it like on a Gold Mud, right? Like the couple larger maps. Why not, right?
Yeah. So really impressed with the map layout. The new wave physics I think are cool. I think they add like even more skill to where it was before. The rib boats are fine. Those ones are easy to drive, I think. And fairly standard in terms of what you would expect. A rib boat. Yeah. You can jump them off of waves deep into like a city area. I landed the rib boat on the roof of a house and crashed through the house. And I was like, yes, now we're playing Battlefield. Nice. So that was fun. The new weapons, whatever, who cares? What?
So did you look at the VSS at all?
Yeah, I played it. I played with it a little.
Yeah. What did you think?
Not a huge fan of it. Well, okay, so I put
Do you know why you weren't a huge fan of it?
Well, yeah, because I put the full auto attachment on, and then the accuracy just sucked, basically.
The accuracy is terrible. Yeah, absolutely terrible. The real reason I think you probably didn't like it, didn't subconsciously realize, it has a bullet velocity of 300.
Ugh.
Yeah. Dude, it's like throwing rocks at people. I was like, why am I missing my shots over here? Like I'm over here trying to take people out at long range because, it's a DMR. And then like nothing's hitting or just like, I'm just like, why aren't I checked. It's 300 meters per second.
So Tsuru Reef being a mid to long range map in general, not ideal for the VSS.
Not ideal. Yeah.
It might be better on like one of those tighter city maps. But even so, I'm having a hard time making an argument for when you would want to use this weapon. And you're like, but a built-in suppressor, just put a suppressor on a different gun.
Right.
And you will have
exactly.
a faster, So
I was a little let down by that one. It could be I didn't using the right attachments. Maybe there's some ways to make it more effective, but you go full auto, it's too much recoil. It's bouncing around. Like there's no way you're going to be accurate. Maybe if you're up close, like that would be good, but long range, medium range, you're tap firing and it's so slow. Like you're just having a hard time lining up shots because like movement in this game isn't like molasses. So people can move. So I found it to be pretty underwhelming. The other two weapons though were pretty solid. Those were good. The new carbine and the AUG were good. They felt solid.
Yep. Agreed. And then I guess one of the next phases we're getting a new sniper rifle.
I don't think we had an opportunity to try that out though.
Yeah. The VSS is always kind of like a random you never know how it's going to perform each Battlefield game. They're just like, what's it going to be? They can never quite decide on like, it's an SMG, it's a carbine, it's a sniper. You're like, oh, we don't know what it's going to be. This time it just feels bad. It feels like a crummy SMG maybe. Maybe that's like I don't know what it is, man.
Maybe once we get our hands on it again in more time, I'll like it more. But my first impressions of it were pretty rocky.
Yeah. Overall, I'm excited about this season. I think the boat stuff is really fun, and I like the wave physics, and I'm excited about there being a higher skill ceiling for boating. The only thing I didn't like about boat controls is that when you reverse, it's like screen relative. And I'm like, why would you do that if tanks don't work that way by default?
Yeah.
Why the heck would you make... Yeah, why make boat turning and tank turning, reverse turning different? It's just silly.
I didn't like that either.
That was super annoying. And maybe they made a mistake for the early access build and they're like, whoops, we checked the wrong box or something. But maybe you can turn that off in the settings or something. But
how did you feel about the size and the flow of the map?
I liked it. I think it definitely, what I liked about it is you're like going on adventures essentially, because you're like, okay, we took that point. Now where? You like open the map. You're like, all right, I think if we take this mountain pass and then head over that bridge, we can get there. It might take you out of the combat a little bit if you're used to the non-stop flow of some of those mid-sized maps from Battlefield, because quite literally you can't be out of combat for more than like 20 seconds on most maps. This one, there's more breathing time in between that, and I appreciated that to an extent. It felt a little more old schooly. Maybe people will have issues with it. It takes a while. If you're on your gimme flag and you need to get to the other team's gimme flag, you're like, all right, like, I could see transport helicopter pilots having a lot more use here, where they like come and pick people up. So I like that. It felt more like a logistics map where you're like, we don't just go somewhere willy nilly and just and whatever. But we'll see.
It felt more like a Battlefield 2 map from back in the day. Like where you're actually having to like, okay, I'm going to be over here. I'm going to lay some mines down. I'm going to get this part of the map a little bit more locked down and play more defensive and wait for people to maybe come to me, right? Like it was more of a commitment to get from one objective to another. It's not massive in the sense like you're playing squad or anything like that. Because when you want to get into the action, you can find action. Like there was some really good flow in the center. There's like some choke points where the island kind of just sort of funnels people to a place, and you can get some really great moments. But yeah, there are some points out there which will take you a while, and you want to have a transport helicopter, you want to have a Jeep, and that's going to be important to have.
Yep. I do like that they made a lot of the perimeter capture points capturable by boats. So you can drive the boat right up to the point. It's a good excuse to get the boats more inland and vulnerable as well. So if a boat comes in a capture, and infantry can easily ambush it if it's not ready. And because they're a little slow and harder to maneuver, you can't just get out of there instantly. So I felt like there was a fun balance between things. Yeah, I'm excited for it. It makes me pumped for Wake Island as well, because I'm like, okay, like the visuals are incredible. The island combat feels really fun and nice. And Wake should complement it quite nicely. And And I guess we're getting carrier assault too with one of those updates down the road too. So that'll be kind of neat, although it is a limited time mode. But
of course.
I'm excited. I think DICE is cooking right now. I think they're providing a lot of fun, interesting stuff. They're not just delivering more of the same, which is kind of what we got with the first season-ish or two. Now we're getting some fun, like, oh, this is new and interesting. And for sure, Tsuru Reef fits that. Like, you haven't played a map like this in Battlefield yet. So,
well, at least Battlefield 6.
That's what
the only worry I have is with the size of it, and the pacing of it is slower. And we'll see how people react. A lot of people make the claim we want bigger maps, but then when they get bigger maps, they become some of the least popular maps in like the game. Like you go back and play this is made the best because it was DLC. But the Armored Kill DLC was good. They were fun, but I don't know if it was the most popular DLC out of the bunch, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how things pan out. It's nice to have that variety though. And I think that's what we miss is like going from, you can have those nice close quarter maps and then it's like, well, now I want something different. I want more large scale, I want more sandbox, right?
Yeah.
And having only close quarters or medium sized maps, I think was a big issue. And we're finally getting that variety. So we'll see how it pans out. I think it's at least a good start. From the brief amount that I played, but we'll see how player sentiment goes from here on out.
Yeah, I think the variety is good, and I think their map design skills have also elevated from past large scale maps where there could be a real drought of stuff going on. And I feel like if you are an infantry player and you just want infantry combat on Tsuru Reef, you can hang out towards the central capture points and you'll get firefights pretty consistently. And then if you're like more logistics oriented and you want to capture all the points, you might end up in helicopters and boats more frequently, doing the outside capping. So I'm excited. I think players are in for a treat with this one, and maybe the VSS will get balanced before launch.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Cool. I think that's a good breakpoint right there.
I agree.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna clap for editing. You know when they clap the clapper thing? They go, take one. All right.
Take one.
Okay, I'm gonna hit us live on the stream.
Okay.
And then I will share the stream.
Bop, 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 bop.
Okay, doing it. All right, I'll give the guys a few minutes to pop in. I was totally off topic, but did you watch the World Cup game, the final game?
No, I did not.
Okay. I like Messi. He's fun to watch. Fun to watch play, but I started to lose favor with Argentina when I watched them play England because they had some kind of like gross fouls that were just like really unnecessary and also didn't get called. And I was like, man, they just are playing like really dirty to an extent. Like there's one foul where a guy straight up elbowed somebody in the back of the head who didn't even have the ball. And the dude fell on the ground. I was like, you could cause brain damage like by doing that. That was crazy. And the ref didn't see it. And I was like, man, I was like, is this just me being weird and biased after watching one game? But I looked up the stats and they're the most fouled team in the whole tournament by like a decent margin. And so Spain beat them. And I felt myself, it's weird because I was like, I love watching Messi play and I have no allegiance to anybody on Spain. But you're just watching the teams play and you're like, I'm rooting for the honorable guys, you know, the ones who aren't playing like a bunch of assholes. And I'm just like, so Spain won, and it made me happy. But it was a really good game, really fun game to watch. sad that US didn't make it that far. Actually, sad that England. It was really sad to see England lose to Argentina because I think they were the better team and they picked a bad strategy. It was very much a like, you're like, they're great players, they're playing well. Oh, they went for a strategy that was not the right strategy. Yeah,
happens.
It does happen. All right. I'm good to move into the next subjects and we'll let people kind of trickle in.
Sounds good.
All right. So if we're staying on the subject of Electronic Arts and Battlefield, it seems like EA, we've been talking about this EA getting bought out by the Saudis for a while now. Like that deal has been talked about and it's been going through regulatory bodies, and it seems like it's about to be approved by the European oversight, whatever. The reason why I want to bring this up again, because obviously nothing's changed other than it being about to be approved, is we just had this giant Microsoft implosion where Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard. They bought a billion other companies. They screwed up massively as a company in terms of how much they realized they could handle, what was going to happen with the economy, gamer interest, and they just shuttered like billions of studios essentially and fired tons of employees. And there's been a huge amount of fallout from this latest firing and people just being like, this is what happens when one company buys all this stuff. Well, it's about to happen again with EA. EA is about to get bought by a company and just put into a big investment portfolio type thing for them. And they're just going to be looking at the numbers. And this is Battlefield. Battlefield's going to be on a spreadsheet with a bunch of other things on a spreadsheet. And sure, BF6 is doing well right now. But what happens if BF7 comes out and it's not up to expectations? Are they just going to shut the studio down? You know, like those are the types of things that scare me about this type of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about these giant conglomerates buying, or people buying companies. So I'm speaking from ignorance. Obviously, because right now EA already owns everything that's under EA's banner. So the only thing is essentially it's changing hands. So it's not like essentially Microsoft, because Microsoft was just gobbling up company after company after company after company, right? And becoming into one. So really the only thing is the top is changing hands. So nothing's really changing underneath the branch of itself, right? They're not like adding other game companies to the mix, right?
Yeah, but it is going private. So instead of a publicly traded stock, there's some interesting aspects there. And sort of, EA has been the company that gobbles and gobbles, right? So if that gobbling strategy has been poorly managed or the market is changing, whoever's on top might just start axing to balance their budget, get everything in the green. I don't know. I'm just worried about it. I'm just worried about change.
Well, it's change, right? Everyone's gets worried about change.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed that nothing dramatic happens, because there's a lot of great games, there's a lot of great studios under EA, and any big change is worrisome. But fingers crossed that they take a more subtle approach and let things kind of cook for a while and settle in, and then hopefully things will be okay in the long run. Because we could use some definitely good news when it comes to the game industry, because especially if you look at Microsoft's camp, it's been pretty rough.
Yeah. And I wish we could say like Battlefield's too big to fail, right? Like that they use that term of like with big companies that have just been around for so long and are so important. They're like, it's too big to fail. We got to bail it out or whatever. And it feels like Battlefield's one of those franchises where it could be in the same echelon as Call of Duty. But we've seen EA shut down, Maxis, right? The studio. We've seen them kill off SimCity, where
Visceral
you're like, kind of IPs that you're like, or like Westwood, Command and Conquer, that stuff. You're like, these IPs that were once legendary and commanded a huge portion of the market, whether they became obsolete as games over time or that was just mismanagement and a lack of good new creative ideas on the studio front. They've taken things that were very popular and basically turned them into nothing, essentially. So I would hate to see that to happen in Battlefield. I don't think we're there, but man, this is the first step of potentially many that could lead us down that path.
True, but that was also under EA's management before, and this is So, you know,
I don't know, man.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful for the best, though.
Yeah.
Speaking briefly of Call of Duty, did you see any of the COD stuff coming out for Modern Warfare 4?
No, maybe I saw a trailer. Did they?
There was like an event apparently held. I didn't even realize it was happening until only recently. But there was like some content creators that got to play the game and showcase Modern Warfare 4, and it looks like Modern Warfare 2019, but maybe prettier graphics. So that's, I guess, kind of cool, which is what you would sort of expect. But yeah. So you haven't seen much?
I haven't. No. Well, and so what's so funny about that is I have seen videos recently of games, and I'm like, Call of Duty is so same that like my brain is trying to think like, did I see it? Did I not see it? Because that's the problem when you release a Call of Duty game every year. They just blend together. Like there's not enough time, at least with Battlefield, and dang it, they're going to try and hit that same COD cadence. They've been wanting it for years, but they at least have enough time where everybody's like, all right, well, what's the next game going to be? There's a little bit more change and a little bit more excitement for like, well, they're going to do something crazy. It's going to be World War I with horses. You know, that's crazy.
Going from Battlefield 3 to 4 to 1 was big. Each one of those was big.
Yeah, not 4, but yeah. We called.
I thought 3 to 4 was big. I mean, we
called it Battlefield 3.5, dude, when it launched.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was the nickname for it when it launched.
Okay, well, I don't remember that, but I remember people being genuinely excited because of the Levolution. Even though Levolution turned to be a gimmick, and it was a really rough launch. In terms of like, that scale, I think people were hyped, even though if it may have turned out. Fair enough. You know what? Fair point.
But when they have taken the time in between titles, Battlefield has tried to change what it is a bit more. I'll give Call of Duty the credit where credit is due. Advanced Warfare had like jump jets and wall running and crazy stuff in it that was very different for that for its brand. And unfortunately, it didn't do well because of that. But it's just hard to get pumped about like what the next Modern Warfare game is going to be, because they're not really that COD hasn't innovated. In fact, it's like it's sort of the point is they're just sort of, they found their niche, they found their genre. The innovation doesn't come from the standard multiplayer anymore. It comes from like the new game modes, right? So you got your extraction modes and your Royale style modes, and that seems to be what people get hyped up for these days. It's not like any of the actual mechanics as much, aside from like that parkour movement system that they showed off a while back, where you're like, okay, that's kind of new and interesting, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded, but I have a hard time getting excited for any Call of Duty game that doesn't change up the rules massively, which is why I liked Advanced Warfare, because I was like, something new and weird and crazy. And then they go, oh, Modern Warfare. And you're like, I've seen this like 20 times, guys.
Yeah, and we have, because if you watch the gameplay for it, it really does look like Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2 in prettier graphics, right? They are changing things up. One thing that is kind of cool, actually a couple things. First, rapid fire. The smoke grenades. You remember how smoke grenades in Counter-Strike 2 now have, or just whatever they call
Counter-Strike 2, I believe.
Counter-Strike 2. Yeah. You can shoot through the smoke, and like the smoke like kind of dissipates a little bit where you shot, or if you throw like a grenade, like the grenade blows the smoke away. Yeah, that's how it works in this now, right?
Cool.
Almost like companies will see things and be like, oh, that's really cool. Let's do that, right? That's cool. Yeah. And so you can shoot through a smoke screen and like really see the other side quite well, which kind of means it feels like smoke might not be as effective, but we'll see. But I thought that was pretty neat. They're adding in crazily underhand throwing for grenades and stuff, so you can have a little bit more options in that regard, right? Tactical. But the big thing was their new map. And their new map will have three different sections to it, and they'll be randomized between a bunch of presets so that every time that you play, you'll basically get a different experience. So I think they said there's like 500 different combinations.
Extraction map or their normal multiplayer maps?
This is like a map. So you can have 3v3 or 10v10 on this map.
Okay.
So it's not massive, but it's also not like teeny tiny. And then, but there's like, it's kind of basically just think of it as just 3 different kind of rectangles, and it's in like a stadium sort of thing where they raise them up, and it will have like a thematic to it where like one will be the theme from previous not Battlefield, Call of Duty games that you'll recognize, and then it'll just play like
interesting
what you would expect, right? So it mixes up the experience where every round will play technically different because things will be in a different position.
Yeah. Dynamic maps, I've been sort of like suggesting that for Battlefield for a while now. I'm like, you could make each experience much more fun if you had unique things happen during the rounds. And it wouldn't be that crazy to do. It's really not that hard when you just put it down on paper. Like, okay, pretty simple approach, but I think they'll get there. It's just big studios are like so slow to like innovate and come up with ideas. They need some indie studio to show them how it's done.
This seems to be Modern Warfare's kind of big innovation, at least with this in particular.
Yeah.
It could fizzle. It's like, oh, well, that might be a different layout, but it's practically the same layout, right? It's not that much of a difference between one round and the other, but it could extend that playtime and extend that enjoyment for a little bit longer, because every round will be technically pretty different from the last round, and you're really gonna have to think on your toes of like where someone could be, and there's gonna be less map knowledge and more of, can I react to the situation in front of me?
Yep. I think, man, it's only a matter of time before somehow AI is integrated to this.
Golly, yeah, that's
where they're like
true.
The new AI map system, where like the AI, where you tell it what you want to play or something.
Do you remember that like Rainbow Six Siege kind of pixel game where the map was different every single round? It was, God, I can't remember what it was called. Well, pixel art, kind of. But it was a first-person shooter, and every single round was completely different. So you could not learn the map because the actual map was different. It like randomized things.
That like Breach game or something like that?
Yeah. It was so it was very much like Rainbow Six Siege, where you had to like plan out and draw, and of course everyone draws phallic things and tries to coordinate, which usually isn't much coordination. It's just running on in and dying. But yeah, it was kind of a neat idea. I don't think it did very well though, because it's really hard to do.
Random map generation is super hard and gets boring very quickly in shooters, I would say, because they've done it recently and they've done it in the past, and I've never seen an example of it where I was like, this is great. You know, it's always been like, oh, that's kind of neat, and then it gets stale super quick, as opposed to fully handcrafted maps. But yeah, I think we're gonna start seeing, because this is just how big studios work. They're like, how can we integrate AI? I think we're gonna start seeing stuff where like somehow a round is like semi-prompt engineered, or AI can create a scenario within maybe a pre-existing map that changes it up each round. You know, I think that's what we're in for with Battlefield and Call of Duty, potentially with the next big ideas there.
Potentially.
It sort of seems obvious, and it's like just enough risk, and it's also got AI attached to it, which means executives will be like, "Oh, did they say
Let's
AI?"
Go.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of AI, I don't think we can get through a podcast these days without mentioning it. You know how I've been talking about prompt engineered games, where that's what I saw at GDC, where like all these games where it's like, here's our whole game is basically a template for you to say, make me a game, and then we have all the assets and mechanics built into it, and now it can pull from that and put together a game for you. How cool. And that's like kind of the idea for the future of these prompt engineered game engines, where anybody can type in, I want to play, you know, Tetris, but with people instead of and then it somehow figures out how to make it. Roblox just announced, and it's coming this month, on the 27th, I believe. It's called Roblox Build. They're launching a mobile app, and you basically type in what kind of game you want to play, and it will build it for you in Roblox, and then you can play it on Roblox. And it's exactly what I've been talking about, like that everybody's racing towards. And it seems like Roblox is going to be the first company to get this product out the door. It could suck. It could be terrible. It could be great. I have a hard time believing it's going to be great. But this is where everybody's heading. Roblox is in first place in terms of getting their product.
Getting it out there. Which is in a lot of ways the only thing that matters, because novelty.
Right. We all use Facebook, or people use Facebook because it was the first one, not because it's...
I was going to say, speak for yourself, young man.
I like to post pictures of my...
I'm still on MySpace, sir.
Friendster, okay?
Friendster.
So this is Fortnite is heading in this direction. Without question, they've got a product in the works that's designed to compete with this. And there's probably... maybe even Minecraft or something is trying to like come up with their own version of this. But Roblox is launching it first. It's coming out in like less than a week, essentially. And we'll see what it is. It kind of trips me up that it's a mobile app, because you're like, wait, I got to design a game on my phone instead of, why can't I just open up the tool on a browser or in some sort of desktop environment? Because that is, I believe, where most Roblox development happens, on the desktop environment. So I'm wondering if this really is just meant for like children or something, to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to make me a racing game with like 4 race car drivers. And then it like does that. And you're like, okay, well, this sucks. The community is not particularly happy about this announcement, by the way.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I find it interesting because I'm not a Roblox fan, so I go and see what they're chatting about. The concerns seem fairly obvious, where they're like, the market is going to get inundated with AI slop.
It's going to be flooded with it.
It's already hard enough to find the good Roblox experiences amongst all the junk out there.
Right.
Tons of copyright issues with both... stealing big name IP stuff, but also just stealing other people's Roblox
in
ideas.
Roblox.
Yeah. So the value of making content in Roblox, because it's a huge economy. There's studios of 30 plus people that get paid by Roblox to make their own
good salary.
Yeah.
They make good money. Yeah.
Yeah. So the valuation of that could drop off if this AI tech basically just makes it harder to find their stuff and the market gets saturated. Basically, Roblox is being the guinea pig for everybody else. Everybody else is running to do this tech, but it could be a pretty rough launch. Well, we don't know.
We won't know until it happens.
I was looking to see if they had shown off any sort of early access version of this, or if there was examples, and they're not really showing much. It's like a website with like, type it in here, game comes out here. And you're like, yeah, I get the concept, but you want to show me any examples of this, or does this really suck? You know, like, is this... How insane
this is so bare bones that we can't even show you right now.
Yeah. But I mean, quite literally, you could take it and say, make a Battlefield style game in Roblox. And in theory, it would try and do that.
Right.
Who knows how good that... Now, do you need to say, make a Battlefield game in Roblox, or do you need to come up with a really advanced prompt to engineer it? Is it like, make it like Battlefield with, and then you have 50 bullet points or something like that, and then see what... That's all up in the air. We have no idea how powerful or how effective it's going to be, but this is where things are heading. You remember a while back when, before Battlefield 6 launched, EA showed off that demo running, I believe, in the Frostbite engine, and they had basically a guy with like an M4 just standing there, and then they prompt engineered it, and they're like, make a pyramid in this map, and it made like a big box pyramid. And then
I don't actually remember that. No.
Okay, it was part of like a little tech demo. So they basically were showing how you could prompt engineer a game mode and map in the Battlefield engine. So every studio is working towards this. Like, there's no question about it. Roblox is just the first out the gate, and this will be the first. They're the canary at the moment, but you can see both the power and the downside to this tool, right? Where you're like, this could either be amazing.
Because on the one hand, it could be used really effectively to like test and like see, because games need to try and fail quickly, right? They need like, let's try this, let's see how it works. And then if you could just use a really bare bones experience where it just kind of puts things together so you can try it quickly, then that gives you a good idea if it will actually work or not. But like the idea of that's the extent and like that's the full game, right? I'm highly suspicious of the quality that you would be able to get with just a couple of prompts, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see it being powerful enough or precise enough to make things that are good. And so a lot of it's just going to be average or just slop, like you said. It doesn't inspire confidence.
Yeah, potentially. So it might start out that way, but as the tools get refined, what I don't like about this, and this is very much like how gaming's becoming an ecosystem right now, where it's like the biggest things are Roblox and Fortnite, where it's sort of an ecosystem to have all your experiences in, and then nobody leaves that ecosystem. And I hate everything about that idea. But the thing that this makes me even more worried about is that it now becomes a tool for innovation. The big studios don't innovate, but the users, the modders, the indie teams, they innovate. They come up with new ideas. Normally, those new ideas release as a cool little indie game that does well. It starts a new studio. Everybody else copies it a few years later or whatever, but at least that indie team gets the reward for it. In this ecosystem environment, if you invent the next big game inside of Roblox, well, they're benefiting right away. They kind of have ownership of that to a degree. And I hate that. I'm like, no, I don't want the big company to already own the innovation that they are not innovating, right? They're just like, yes, come into our ecosystem and do all the work for us. Come up with the great ideas for us. I'm like, I don't want that to be the way the world works, and I hate that.
Yeah, you're sort of already seeing that. You know, Mecha Chameleon, that mega success that just launched only like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
There's Roblox copycats already, and they apparently have like a ton of people playing it because it's Roblox and it's free and there's no entry fee or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that adds to it.
That's going to happen even faster with AI stuff because a day later they'll be like, make Mecha Chameleon in Roblox. And I mean,
it potentially could.
It's terrifying because that gives those indie teams and those studios even less runway. If you think, like, obviously it did well and they're making money, but
they're fine. They've sold like 15 million copies. Like they're more than fine.
But here's the thing: is like we quantify that and we're like, oh, but they made money, so it's totally fine. Yeah, but the tail end of that money just got chopped off. Where like
potentially.
The reward for innovating now just got truncated, where you're like, oh, we could have built a big studio and done all this cool stuff. Now the big studios can copy and steal our ideas so freaking fast that the reward is like short-lived. And this is sort of the more existential threat of AI, which is like, and what it's doing to the internet and so many other things where you make something brand new, AI copies it immediately, no incentive to make anything brand new. It's just going to kill so much stuff. And this freaks me out a little bit. That's a really good example and an interesting example of this where Mecha Chameleon's simple enough where Roblox teams could make it pretty quickly. But with AI added into the mix, oh my God, it's going to be instant, dude.
The ramifications of all this is going to be pretty nuts. You could argue there's going to be less like marketing for indie titles because they're like, well, I'm not going to show my game off so people can just rip it, if they're going to use that. So it's going to be the Wild West for a while, and I have no idea how it's going to pan out in the long run.
Yeah. I don't like it at all. Jason in chat says, make Star Citizen in Roblox.
You go. I'm sure that'll be simple with no problems whatsoever.
It might be less buggy. We don't know, Matt.
It very well might be. This is true.
Yeah, so that's crazy. And I did want to have a little rant about the ecosystem of stuff, but the only thing I want to add to that is like we grew up in a less ecosystem of games to an extent where you go to the game store, you buy a game off the shelf. Steam has kind of become our ecosystem to a degree where you're just like, well, I buy games on Steam and they're all in the Steam ecosystem, but it's not a single game ecosystem in which we're playing games inside of another game platform. Most kids are growing up now playing Roblox, Fortnite, or Minecraft. Those games have become ecosystems.
Yeah.
And it's very monetarily effective where they're just making so much money. They're keeping people in their ecosystems. All the friend groups just stay in their ecosystems. They hang out in there. It's sort of like what we do with like Apple and Google, you either commit to Android or you commit to iPhone or whatever, and then you stay in those ecosystems, right?
Right.
It's a very anti-competitive practice in the long term. I have one Apple device. I have an iPad, and I turned on a Find My, what's it called? Find My device or something.
I don't really have any Apple products either. So
okay, so basically, some products have like a little tracker type device in them, and
Find My device.
Yeah, and so you can link it up, and it's good if you have something expensive or you lose something. You can do it. But I was trying to set up my Find My device on my iPad, and iPad's like, well, this is a security system, so you've got to verify
you've got to make your account.
You've got to do a security check on a different device. They won't let me do it on a non-Apple device, which is like they're the only brand that does this, and it drives me absolutely crazy.
That's wild.
And I don't have another Apple device, and it led to all these problems and hoops that I had to jump through to get it working because it's a very anti-competitive, like, we're not going to let you out of the ecosystem.
Right.
If you want to be in the Apple ecosystem, you got to buy the phone, you got to buy the iPad, you got to buy the watch, you got to buy all this stuff. And they're super restrictive about that with all their passwords and stuff, and they just try and get you to embrace it more. And that's the same with what we're going to see with gaming, is like they're just going to try and trap you in these ecosystems. Apple's become a company of trapping you in an ecosystem. They don't innovate really much anymore. They just trap you in that ecosystem, and it's super effective and dangerous, and it scares me because it's such an effective tool, and now it's coming to games, and I'm like, no, we don't want to trap people in the Roblox or the Fortnite ecosystem. Every time Tim Sweeney starts talking about the future of Fortnite and all this stuff, and he's like, we're all gonna have cosmetics that are shared between every game, and I'm like, no, please, that's
not what I want.
Yeah, he's like, won't you be happy if you buy a cool
They've been
hat?
playing this for a long time too,
dude.
This has been, they said this years ago, but especially Fortnite, that they wanted it to be a place where it was a platform, and they wanted it to be like for concerts, and they've done that, right? They've literally had concerts, like you play different variety of game modes and games, and it's just a place where you hang out with your friends, and they've had decent success. I don't know how Fortnite's doing now compared to their meteoric rise, but yeah, they're definitely trying and in a lot of ways succeeding.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my existential threat of the future for all games, and hopefully we're not doomed. But
you're all going to be playing Fortnite, and you're going to like it.
Oh, God, no. You're going to be a Fortnite streamer, Matt. I can't wait.
No.
I'm tuning into Matt. It's like, whoa, what wacky game mode are we going to play together?
You don't have to put on a face. All right.
Oh man. Continuing on the AI news feed. I can't help it.
More AI news? What happened now?
This is a little follow-up to what we were talking about last week. I was talking about how that Steam checkbox for AI generated content and all that. We're getting data on it. More studies are being done. Currently, all new games coming out on Steam, 1/3 of them check the AI generated content checkbox. And they're saying, and they're predicting, based on the rate of growth, that by 2028, it's going to be 50% of games.
It's a lot.
So we're heading in that direction, whether anybody wants it or not. I think the profitability of using the tools is far outweighing the negative backlash of using
Depends
the
on
tools.
how it's used, though. I think that's what it comes down to. I think it
Yeah.
just depends on how it's used, because people will put their foot down in some instances and then not in others, right?
Yep.
So if it's really egregious and it's in your face and it's like, this looks awful because it's clearly AI, then people are going to be like, no, I'm not going to buy this. Like, I don't care if it was easier for you to do. Obviously, it was easier because it looks terrible. But if it enhances the game in some way that most people would not notice, then yes, I think most people will not care because it's not front and center.
And because I'm a little bit more behind the scenes than the average gamer out there, doing development stuff behind the scenes and seeing what the tools can do, I would say most people, even myself included, will not be able to tell the AI stuff that has been put into the game, because we're all used to recognizing kind of the couple years ago AI slop jank that's been out there. And it's like, oh, that guy's got 6 fingers and whatever, you know, like it looks bad. New stuff, you cannot tell. To give you a little story about it, I asked my friend who his concept artist was for making characters and icons for his game, because I was like, I like that style. That's really cool. Can I hire your concept artist for my game? And he was like, okay, so story about that. We were getting ready to publish, and we noticed one of our characters, and this guy had been working with us for like a year, and we're really happy with all the work that they were doing. One of our characters had 6 fingers. And I almost didn't understand what he meant by that. I was like, is that a expression? And he's like, no. They've been AI generating this stuff for us. Maybe they've been hand drawing like one and then AI generating the rest. But the fact is, they didn't know. They were trying to vet this person. And I like the artwork so much that I was like, can I use your guy? So that's the level of quality that we're at right now, where when you combine it with somebody who actually has artistic talent, who is also using the tools, nobody is going to be able to tell unless there's a small error, right? Where you're like, oh, 6 fingers. So
it was happening even for live video. You may have seen this during the World Cup. There are people, I noticed this trend where there would be like a man staring at a woman because she's beautiful, right? She's gorgeous. And then his wife is like staring at the man, like, what do you, like, you know, like kind of smacks him on the head. Like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be looking at the pretty lady. And then people in the comments are like, ha ha ha, so funny, right? Like, oh, a guy looking at a pretty woman. And then there would be another video that was similar. And another video, I'm like, is just this happening consistently at the World Cup, or is this, it's all AI? It was just AI. All of them. And I realized it after the fact, because it's like, something feels off. I can't tell what feels off about it, but something feels off. And my intuition was right. They were AI generated videos.
It is straight up killing the internet right now. Like
it really is.
Because oh man, this is the thing that's driving me crazy right now. So I have been following the World Cup a little bit, and then you'll go online, on social media, whether it's X or Instagram or wherever the heck you are, they'll post a quote after a match where it's like a player and they're just like, this is how I feel about that player on the other team, or how I feel about losing. Whole quote is fake, AI generated, but because it's got that little bit of like, you're like, whoa, he said what? Everybody reads it, and it's just like, I'm so sick of this. Like, I just spent time reading a quote that is 100% fake, thinking it was real for a second, and then going like, there's no policing system in place for this. People are making money off of it. They're going to keep doing it. And you just shut it down. You're like, I'm done with this app. Like, we're killing the internet in real time.
Yeah, it's becoming the dead internet theory for sure, where it's going to be bots like yelling at bots and creating content, right, for bots.
And it's all fake too, where you're just like, oh, reality isn't entertaining enough because it doesn't produce enough memeable content quick enough. So we're just going to generate that.
We have to generate it, right? Which it's not good. It's not, because now everything you see is like, you have to question if it's real or not. And I don't like that. Like there already was a little bit of that where it's like, oh, this was a fake video. Like they acted as if it was real, but it was a sketch, and that's fine. That was a little annoying, but at least it was people. And now it's like we don't even need to have actors. We don't even need to have any of that. We'll just generate a prompt and let that sucker fly. Yeah, I don't blame people for being concerned because I am one of them.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, make a Matimio video.
No. Get that out of here.
Yeah, you're gonna really like my upcoming content.
No.
Oh man. Let's change the.
Do we have any better news? Any exciting news?
I think this is kind of interesting. We've sort of heard these rumors for a little bit now, but there's more rumors now. Sony discussed removing the perception that PlayStation is tied to the living room and emphasized playing seamlessly across different environments. This was in a recent investor call at Sony. PS6 has been rumored to be potentially more of a mobile Steam Deck or Switch type competitor. It's possible that it would be two systems where you have the living room console and then the mobile version, and they can maybe play all the same games, but maybe the bigger console has better performance or something. I don't know. It's all speculation, but every platform seems to be aiming at a mobile version of its platform. Xbox is doing it with the whatever they have, the Ally. I don't know what it is. The Xbox,
the Rogue Ally.
Yeah, they've got that, and then PlayStation has already got their sort of wireless weird version of it, which isn't the exact same thing. It can like stream to it, but they're all going in that direction. Switch kind of paved the way, and they're like, no, this is a real thing, guys. Everybody loves it. So that'll be interesting. I'm very curious to see if PlayStation fully commits to it, where they're like, either it's one device for the PS6 that's just like super powered, or maybe it has a dock that super powers it or something. If you dock it, and then it's like gives you the extra horsepower to run at 4K or something. But I kind of like the idea of this. I mean, I think the Switch is a fantastic product in the sense that you can dock it, anywhere, play in your living room, take it with you on an airplane flight, do whatever you want, play it in bed. Like it's kind of a brilliant idea. And I think the rest of the market's catching up to that concept. So maybe we're heading towards a future in which all the major console platforms are both mobile. Yeah. What do you think about that? Would you?
I mean, the reason why Nintendo has probably been as successful as it has recently is because of the Switch. I mean, it just comes down to the Switch. I mean, they had a bit of a fumble with the Wii U, right? And that was not massive. And then the Switch came out and it was a mega success. And I don't know how well the Switch 2 is doing, but I imagine it's doing all right.
It's doing extremely well.
Okay. I don't really follow Nintendo news, so that's.
I read something recently where they're like it's outselling like Microsoft and Sony console
Oh wow.
sales.
Okay.
Something crazy. Yeah, it was
good.
Really good.
Good for them. And it could be because it's niche, right? And it's the only one that really does that well, and then has big games behind it, right? It's not just like a smaller like, oh, I can use this every once in a while. It's like no,
it's also backwards compatible.
It's Nintendo's
finally.
Products.
Yep. So Nintendo finally added backwards compatibility in there, where they're like, you can play Switch 1 games on the Switch 2, and people are like,
yeah, that's good.
Oh, like now I don't have to buy all the games again. I think they've also, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but I believe they kept their price a bit more in line, where the PlayStation and Xbox keep escalating in price. I think Nintendo somehow managed to eat the cost.
I think they increased it a little bit, but it's only it's $500, which is not inexpensive, but it's not the whatever it is now for Xbox.
Exactly. It's now the cheapest console essentially. And you're like, okay, well, I see why he's doing well, because economy's tough. Console prices going up. You're going to look at what you can get for your dollar, and it's like a lot more with the Switch nowadays.
Yeah. It looks like if you get a Xbox Series Standard 1 terabyte, it is $800.
Woof.
I am looking. That's for So it's pricey. That was the AI for Google. The one concern I have with like people going for more mobile is that will stagnate the graphical fidelity that the game industry has always been pushing. So
do you think we're kind of stagnating on that anyway?
We are stagnating on it anyways. Yeah. We are. Without a doubt. I think graphical fidelity is reaching a plateau because there's only so much you can really do, and really the only big advancements that we've seen in the last like 5 years has been like ray tracing, but you don't even really need ray tracing for a game to look fantastic. Like Battlefield 6 doesn't have ray tracing. It looks pretty good.
Yep.
Like it's a very pretty game. So it's not required, but if everyone does go mobile and then all studios are like, if you make a game on our platform, it has to work on our mobile version too, that's absolutely going to mean they cut corners. They are not cut corners, but they're going to have to cut corners in the sense of, graphical fidelity. They can't push the boundaries that people kind of grow to expect from a new console generation. So that would be one downside of that.
How much do you think graphical fidelity was pushed by the marketability of it? Right. I think because when you came out with like a big new graphics feature like ray tracing or some cool mega physics engine, like when Half-Life 2 came out, and you're like, whoa, physics in a real-time physics in a game. Like, look how cool that looks. Like those were very marketable features. I think they've kind of run out, or they've very much plateaued, as you say, on that being a more marketable feature. Right. And so I think there's generally just less incentive to try and push crazy graphics, because unless it's so much better than another system out there, you're just not going to get the sales anymore. And it's like what you're saying with Call of Duty, where you're like, it kind of looks like the last one, maybe better graphics. I can't even tell. It's not really a marketing feature anymore. So if they can't market it, it's like just they're going to focus on other elements where mobile might actually be well timed for this, where they're like, the graphics race is sort of drying up. Nobody cares that much anymore.
I think people care because like when a game does look really pretty, like it is a selling point without a doubt, but it's becoming less impressive because every game looks really good now. Every title. When we're talking like 15 years ago, 10 years ago even, actually I'd say 15 years ago. From 15 years to 10 years ago, that gap still was pretty significant. Like I went back and played Arkham Knight, and it's still a good looking game, but like you can tell it's a little outdated. But you go back even 5 years before that, it's like, whoa, now we're talking a game that looks underwhelming, right? Graphically by today's standards. So just that 5 years was enough. But now that 10-year gap from that to now is like, it's still very playable and you wouldn't really notice much, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree. Graphics are not as big of a selling point as they used to be, because it's just, like I said, we're reaching a plateau.
Yep. I saw a movie. I finally caught Backrooms. It came out to streaming, so now I've seen.
Nice. How was it? What'd you watch it on?
Amazon maybe.
Okay.
I've seen the 2 YouTuber directed movies now.
Yes. What'd you think?
I thought Backrooms was good. Between Obsession and Backrooms, Obsession's the better movie, but they're both good. And Backrooms is fun, man. I'm not overly familiar with all the whole liminal space universe. Like I've played some games and experiences in it, but they all kind of change from game to game or title to title and how they handle the experience and what it's about. This one was a really fun take on it, and surprisingly, there's depth in it if you want to look for the depth, where it sort of it's like Inception, right? You can take it at face value, or you can think about it and really go deep, and you're like, whoa, but then this, and then that, and then this. So it had elements like that where you're really trying to piece it together, and it very much stayed true, I feel, to like the theme of Backrooms, which is ultimately like there is truly an unknowing characteristic to it, where you're like, we're trying to discover, but you never fully discover what it's all about.
Backrooms kind of gives a Cthulhu or cosmic horror vibe, where it's you know what is the unknown. The unknowable is the scary part.
It's really fun. I mean, okay, so for people who are unfamiliar with this Backrooms universe, this was, I believe, started by a single photo on 4chan, like forever ago, where they posted basically an empty furniture store, I believe, like warehouse where like they were just moving out some stuff from a furniture store, and sort of they posted this photo of like a really creepy kind of yellow walled interior building, no windows, and it sort of looked like a glitch in the Matrix, where there's enough sort of repetition in the wallpaper and the wall design where you're just like, this is like as if you described what a building should look like to somebody who's never seen a building before, right? And then they sort of drew it, and you're like, there's just something creepy and off about it. And it was this vibe that became kind of like, it just got under your skin. You're like, I like this, but it's creepy. And I just like, and the community just ran with it. And they built all this Backrooms related content and universe stuff. And there's tons of games, tons of mods, tons of stuff where it's like, you're just sort of in this part of a universe that like repeats itself or has elements that look like they're not quite right. And in the film, they do a fantastic, it must have been a blast to work on the sets for this movie, where you're just like, we're going to make rooms that like kind of look like rooms, but aren't quite right, and like repeat stuff. And it was fun because I've seen a lot of this content in games, and seeing it in a film was just kind of fun and sort of Easter eggy.
Yeah.
And they even had like pool stuff. I played a game called Pools, which is like Backrooms version of just a swimming pool environment.
It's liminal space.
Yeah. So they had even a pool section of this too, which I was like, oh, this is creepy. I like it. It's super weird. And the characters in it approach it in the same way that you might approach it if you all of a sudden ended up in this space where you're just like, what in the heck is going on here? And like, it's sort of like a room, but then nothing makes sense. There's doors that open to like nothing, like walls and furniture that's like kind of half coming out of the walls, or chairs that are too big or too small, and then just getting escalatingly weirder and weirder and weirder. I won't ruin any of the fun surprises with it, but it's got some fun character depth to it and some fun twists.
Does it rely on jump scares at all?
Not really. Okay. Like,
because I don't like jump scare. I like it when it's just like, it's just creepy.
I'm gonna say no. There's definitely moments where like a door opens and like you're just like, oh shit, what's behind that door? You know?
Yeah.
But it's not like they don't hit you with the like the music. Yeah. Nobody pops up in front of the camera. I think there might be like one, but I can't think of any.
There's nothing wrong with like a couple of jump scares here and there. It's just when they over rely on it, like, this is obnoxious.
Yeah, it's creepy stuff where it's like you see a figure at the end of a long hallway, and then it starts walking towards you, and you're like, nope, go away, let's go the other way. Yeah. That kind of nice. Yeah. I recommend it, especially to anyone who's like a little bit of a fan of the liminal space. Media, anything that's come out there, and you're like, there's just something weird and off about this, and I'm attracted to it for whatever reason. It's just cool.
Whatever you're into, Level Cap.
Hey, I'm in a liminal space. That's my kink. All right,
that's my kink, fellas.
Yeah. I need to be in a room with weird, abstract, repeating features. Okay.
To each their own, I guess. I saw a movie, Palm Springs. Have you heard or seen of that? Yeah,
I like that.
Cute little movie. I liked it.
It's fun. It's kind of like a Groundhog Day concept.
100% a Groundhog Day. Yeah. But the main character is already in it, and so there's none of the like lead up to like what's happening. It's like no, he's just in. It just starts, and he's already in the groundhog moment, the repeat, right, the loop. And it was fun. Nothing groundbreaking, but it was just a fun story of, you know, what would really kind of not really happen, but a fun interpretation of what would happen in a loop. You would just kind of just chill, just kind of living your life. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Those stories are always fun. You can't do them too frequently. You don't want to like annoy people, but the whole time loop concept, whether it's like what was that Tom Cruise movie, The Edge of Tomorrow? Is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah. One of the greatest movies ever made.
So good. I think they're making the sequel to it, and I'm just
supposedly
pumped. But just that concept of like, there's something super attractive about the ability to do things over, right? Because I think inherently everybody, as much as we want to say we don't, we all have regrets in life, right? We all have those little nagging, like, oh, you just be walking around and think about that moment from like high school or something where you did this stupid thing or said the dumb thing. You're like, oh, I just wish I didn't do that stupid thing. And this concept of being able to just redo it, you're like, what if I just fixed all of my mistakes or have infinite time to master a skill or do all these things and impress people? It's like, it's a fun concept. It's, it's based on kind of our flaws and our ego wanting to like do everything right and whatnot, but there is something inherently attractive about it. And then most of the films,
then there's the horror of it, which is you're stuck in an infinite loop where the day resets every single time.
Yeah.
And that's rough.
Yeah. And then the characters inherently go a little loopy to a degree.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, I've had 1,000, I've talked to you for like years and years and years. I know everything about your life. Like there's nothing more to extract from this experience.
Right.
And so, you go a little nuts. And I think Palm Springs was a really good kind of evolution to that concept. And it was a fun, different play on it than say Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
It was definitely more of a comedy, which was fun.
Yeah. Although there was some like nice touchy-feely stuff in there.
There was.
Sure.
Yeah.
A game that I'm kind of excited about the release of, and I will admit I've gotten into Hooded Horse related titles because I have access to all the game keys, and I'm just like, I'll play all their games now. Fogpiercer. I think you might enjoy this one.
I've heard of it.
It's I played the early access quite a bit, and it came out a few days back, I want to say last week. And it's basically
it's out. It's not even early access.
Yeah. It's basically a roguelike train combat strategy game. So you are the Fogpiercer, not related to the Snowpiercer, of course.
Of course.
And you're driving this train through this sort of Arctic climate, and Mad Max type vehicles come up and try and get you. And it's also a card game too. So you're building a deck.
Oh, of course.
Naturally. Which it's got all the sort of tropes of indie developed game, but it's fun. I like it. The strategy's decent, and it's trains, man.
It does look novel.
There's just something fun about a train, and you're like, oh, I'm building a battle train that has to get through an environment, and the strategy in it's decent. I enjoyed it, and there seems to be enough variety to mix up the way you approach it, which is fun. So it gets a recommendation for me. I enjoyed it, and actually, I need to play Corsair Cove because that's also another one that I think I get a key for.
Nice. Yeah, actually, it officially released, and I got to play a little bit more, and it's more, and it's better. It's a cool game. Yeah, I think people are gonna divide with it. I got to play it early before it came out because it comes out on like the 31st of July, and it's basically just you make it's really funny. The pirate, because it's a city builder, and it's a bunch of pirates trying to carve out their own treasure island sort of vibe. But then there's moments where it's like, we need to make money. We might need to tax our citizens. It's like, isn't that kind of the whole point of why they're pirates, is so they don't get taxed? And then it gives you an option like, well, no, we're not going to tax them. Like, we're pirates, baby. And then everyone celebrates like, yay. But it is interesting because there is the hypocrisy of what they're doing, which is creating a local government. They're making laws and making sure that people follow them. And it's the irony of a community, right? So
it's sort of like when in a pirate movie or a book or whatever, they're like, 10% of your loot goes to the captain. You're like, so taxes, essentially. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, we're free and we don't have government or taxes, but I mean, you do kind of have to pay me.
There's the leader. They got to get their stuff. Yeah,
it's the exact same thing, really, in every single way.
It's almost like it's inevitable in some ways, right?
We are humans organize. We have hierarchical structures. Like we like leaders. We like to not have to make all of the decisions for ourselves all the time. Like it's just natural. We do it. It's in our DNA. But it's also in our DNA.
Those people need to be paid, and that money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad you had fun with that. I see that you also played some Alien Dark Descent.
I couldn't remember if we talked about that at all. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we did talk.
I played a bit more. It's kind of running a little bit repetitive now.
Okay.
But I still think it's a solid title. It's so stressful because you're like the entire time you want to succeed and you want to do things perfect and you don't want to lose anybody and you want them to be super stressed out. And then obviously the game is like, that's the whole point of the game, asshole, is for you to get stressed out and, and throw things at you that you're not expecting. Right.
Yeah.
And so it can be kind of frustrating. We're like, damn it, I would have done that differently if I'd known. But it's like, that's the whole point, is they're supposed to take damage. They're supposed to get stressed. And that can wear at you a bit if you have the wrong mentality, which in some ways I kind of did.
Yeah. Well, you've entered your middle-aged gamer phase, Matt, where you need, enough kind of like, you need the game to caress you a bunch and be like, it's okay, buddy.
It's okay. It's okay. You're still good at gaming. Don't worry. You can aim just as well as you did 10 years ago with those young whippersnappers.
I do remember playing a lot more like just punish you so much games when I was younger, where you're just like, you can't do it, then you lose, and you're just like, well, I gotta beat him. My friends can beat this, so I'll do it. I'll do better. And now I'm just like, we're just gonna build an economy and everybody's gonna be happy, and I'm gonna balance out all of the metrics, and everybody's gonna be chill, and it's gonna be great.
That's actually funny you mentioned that, because whenever I play a game, I always try to make everyone's like lives a little bit easier. I'm always like, okay, well, everyone's obviously got to be paid reasonably well. They've got to have all the the resources allocated. I want them to be happy. I don't got to min max this. Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works.
I like I'm personally a fan of this, but like the rise of cozy games.
Yeah.
Where it's sort of, there are games, but kind of like they're borrowing concepts of games where there are win-lose scenarios, but then they tone it down. We're like, it's not really a lose. You like sometimes
it's not really a loss. It's okay, baby. You're fine.
Sometimes things don't work out. Let's try something else, buddy. Let's keep going. And you're like, okay, yeah. I didn't really lose. Just my idea didn't quite work out. Okay, let's. They have the bookshop, cozy bookshop or something like that, where you're like running a bookstore and it's like, okay, I'm just putting books in my bookstore.
You're just running a bookstore.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm young me would be like, ugh, the future of gaming is dark. You guys have turned soft. I can't support this, But older me's like, yeah, I'm cool with this, I'm gonna put on some Enya and play this game,
Oh my goodness, Enya! I haven't heard that. Is that
still a relevant reference?
I don't think so, but I'm down with it because Enya's great.
I could see it. That's what I want to like. I want you to like. I envision you kind of taking long walks with earbuds in, with Enya playing.
With Enya,
like,
yeah.
Like, who can say? Well, I forget how the line goes. It's time.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Like. Yeah, it's
where the wind blows.
Only time. Boy, I think we've run the gamut of things to talk about this week, but there's a good amount of stuff. BF6 season 4. If you got Battlefield 6,
try it out. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. And Wake Island, man, I just cannot wait to see the next. I don't know why. Who cares?
It's a classic for a reason.
I know. We've seen so many remakes of Wake Island, and I'm still excited every time. I'm like, oh, what's the next one going to be?
Which is why they do it.
What can I say? I'm a sucker for it. I'm also a fan of perfecting good formulas, right? Like, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes updating an old map and fixing the little flaws is a really exciting way to like introduce great gameplay to a game that you're already enjoying. So
yeah,
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the Level With Me podcast. If you want to support us further, you can check out the Patreon link in the description and come hang out with us for a little live podcast recording that we are doing on Monday mornings now, and chat with us and all that kind of fun stuff. But regardless of whether or not you're a Patreon member, Matt is going to give you some extremely helpful advice at the end of each podcast, which he is not reading right now with his eyes going back and forth that I can see on the camera. He's not coming up with the ideas on the spot right now at all. I promise you this is prepared well in advance.
This is well thought out and prepared. Okay, so my advice... I wasn't reading anything. I was looking into your eyes, baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my advice this week that definitely was not just created on the spot is that while I know it's painful and I know it sucks when you're in the shower and you're lathering up and you have to sit there by yourself alone with your thoughts, and it drifts to that one moment in time where, you know, you were embarrassed. Maybe you did something in front of a girl and you're like, damn it, why did I do that? It's okay. It was 25 years ago, and the reason why it hurts is because you were embarrassed, and you learn from that moment not to do that again, because if that didn't happen, maybe you would make that same mistake in the future. So you're not going to make that same mistake because you've grown as a person. And so kind of take some, you know, consideration with that. Maybe, you know, it hopefully makes you feel a little bit better, even though it still stings, because boy, does it sting, man. Good grief. I know it happened 30 years ago. Doesn't matter. Still stings.
Man, we just got some real insight into your shower thoughts, Matt, and we could not be any different in terms of shower thoughts. You know, like you're like,
what are you thinking about when you're in the shower?
Like the other day, I was thinking about like pun names for like stores. So I was like, oh, if you had a store called Pandemonium, you could sell panda related merchandise in that store. And then that was like a good, 5-10 minute long.
So you've never like when you're alone with your thoughts, I mean, you literally just admitted that when you're alone with your thoughts, you think back on moments that you cringed about.
Not my shower thoughts. My shower thoughts are usually just like.
Every time I'm in the shower, am I thinking about the cringe things I've done? Okay, it's every once in a while. I didn't realize we were gonna hyperanalyze my shower thoughts. All right.
I mean, you brought out. You did bring it up, and
it was just an example level, Cap.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching the Level With Me podcast. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care.